Hey everyone, welcome back to our summer split coverage. It's on to our second game of the day. Team Solo Mid versus Cloud9. Now this one is basically for all the marbles. A second place seed, a first round bye, and bragging rights in what has become one of the rivalries to watch here in North America.
Yep, the whole kit and caboodle is on the line here, Freak. Cloud9 are just half a game up in the standings, and traditionally, this is a matchup that has gone their way. Before this split, Cloud9 had only lost one game to TSM, but this split, Cloud9 are actually on the losing side and have lost 2 of their 3 games to TSM.
And this week, both teams have had their setbacks. For Cloud9, they're 1-1, losing to Evil Geniuses, while TSM are coming off a tough loss to LMQ, where they were 4-0 on the split.
And TSM were trying some new things that have been played in the international scene across the world, like Bjergsen picking up that mid-lane Zillion, and Amazing returning to that Vanguard pick, which we just saw fail one more time, due to, as Specialist said, less than optimal Rengar play. Amazing's champion pool troubles actually have been something of a reoccurring theme this split, though. He's undefeated on Elise, and overall, with Elise and Lee Sin combined, 14-2. But he's only 1-8 on anything other than those 2.
It's going to be a pretty rough thing for him then if he can't get a champion he's good at. Both these teams have been playing with everything they've got and leaving it all in the Rift every single week. But when you come into a rivalry match like this one, sometimes you find a little extra fuel in the tank.
Well, we try to bring our A game to every game, obviously, but it's definitely more hype, I guess, just to play against a team that you're pretty close to.
When it comes to playoffs, like playing at 80 or 90% is not going to cut it, because C9 is the kind of team that, you know, has gone on those winning streaks, and now that they've lost a lot, they're actually even more scary than before.
I guess there's somewhat of a rivalry between us, but I think we both respect each other. We both know we're good teams, regardless of how a few games go during the season. So I guess I like playing them because it's competitive.
Right now, every single team is like gritting their teeth, and it's coming down to crunch time. And so far, every time crunch time came around, either TSM or C9 always came on top in the end.
They've told me that it's been going well, solo queue, practice, just the general attitude of the team. So I'm excited to play them. They seem revitalized, they seem like they're ready to roll, and it should be a great game.
I'm pretty sure it will be a great game. It's going to be a fun match, guys. Let's check out the starting lineups now. On the blue side, Team Solo Mid with Dyrus in the top lane, Amazing in the jungle, Bjergsen in mid, WildTurtle and AD carry, and Lustboy on support.
And on the red side, it's Cloud9. Up top is Balls. In the jungle, Meteos. At mid, High. At AD carry, Sneaky, and supporting LemonNation.
So keeping with the theme of Super Week, we're giving you more bang for your buck in today's featured matchup, WildTurtle and Lustboy versus Sneaky and LemonNation.
And this entire split, I have to say, Sneaky and LemonNation have been the consistent players for Cloud9. They've helped them carry them through the rough patches in their split so far. You know, they've been playing together for so long that they know exactly how the other one will react in pretty much every situation. Meanwhile, Lustboy and WildTurtle, aka the Wild Boys, where they may not speak as much because of the language barrier, but WildTurtle has shown that he can have huge games for his team in the LCS, and Lustboy's mechanics have definitely been on point so far. So I guess what I'm saying is Cloud9's bottom lane need a nickname.
They need a nickname. Okay. How do we combine Sneaky and Lemons?
Well, Lemons are sour. Warheads are sour.
And Spies are sneaky.
No.
Spies plus Warheads, Cold War.
Cool. It kind of works because his alt is named Stealth Bomber.
Yep.
And there are 2 nations in the Cold War.
Yeah. There you
Is that
go.
good enough?
Yeah, we're good.
That's pretty good.
All right, there we go. We got it, guys. We're getting ourselves into the game pretty soon. TSM, they did have a pretty rough game.
You could also do something with the notebook. Like, they don't have to actually be the player names combined, right?
Yeah, you're right. So, sneaky notebooks.
Yeah. A diary?
Yes.
Is it kind of sneaky?
The diary.
Got secrets in it?
The diary, the secret diary.
Secret diary. So what's better, Cold War bottom lane or Secret Diary bottom lane? Sounds like Cold War.
Sounds like Cold War. Well, we did hashtag 80 minutes stream. We could do hashtag Cold. I feel like hashtag Cold War might be a faux pas. I don't know.
Wow, that timing worked out perfectly.
Wow,
we came up with 2 answers.
Well, TSM declaring a war on Cold. Braum has been banned away. Yasuo as well. Casted and dropped away from Team Solo Mid. Got the jungles on the screen. Lee Sin away from Amazing. He's got 1 champ left.
That's 1 of 2, baby.
Oh, Meteos loves the Elise. Maybe they can put something else out for first pick.
Yeah.
There's the notebook. Less secret.
Let's call it the diary from now on.
Diary.
I like that better.
LemonNation diary.
He writes his secrets after watching Champions every night.
That's true.
Dear diary, today Dade played Zed again. Maybe Hai should start using it.
He laughed at your joke.
Yes.
He wrote the punchlines down in it, actually.
Oh, so Elise. Definitely a high priority for TSM, but how big of a priority do they think it is? Because amazing. Now, even though the record states that he's very poor on all other junglers, he actually has confidence on things like Jarvan. And if the rest of the team has that confidence, it's not always about what's happened in the past. It's about the here and the now. Things change so quickly in this game. Whatever has been going on in scrims may have changed up everything. So even though people like to ride the story and say, look at the stats, they're damning for him, they could very well not feel cornered into that pick.
Yeah, I mean, think about this Gragas Hover right here. He started out pretty miserable in his first week in the North American LCS, and yet we're seeing him getting more and more successful over time. Gragas is locked in here for Dyrus.
And I have to say, this has got to be one of the top picks for pretty much every team right now. This is before he gets nerfed. We're still on 412 right now, and he is a beastly top laner. That being said, Maokai's still up. Nidalee is also available. Both of those are pretty decent answers in that top lane at the current patch.
I remember Vols playing Nidalee against the West Rice Gragas a few weeks ago and had a stellar performance there.
The other thing is, though, yeah, you already talked about it, actually. Touched on Meteos really liking Elise as well. Passes the first round on both teams.
Okay, Cloud9 have really loved getting sneaky that Kog'Maw. Time and again, they rush that pick whenever possible. This is a team that would pick Ashe Zyra every single game. They pick their bottom lanes together really frequently. And before it was Corki Karma, now it's Kog Morgana as the go-to bot lane for Cloud9.
I do like the combo, adding that Black Shield for the Kog'Maw, but also just so much time. LemonNation has put in so much practice time on Morgana.
Yeah.
He's been playing her non-stop for the better part of a year. And it's always great to see with Cloud9. They used to always combo her with Elise so that they could make use of the cooldown reduction build and spam out those skill shot crowd control abilities. But by taking those two, locking in the bottom lane, they do give up the ever-important Elise for Mr. Amazing, who has been undefeated, I believe, 8 times he's won with the champion now.
Yeah, he's been great on the champion overall. And Nami comes in for Lustboy. Nami is a champion I consider very good against Morgana in the matchup.
Oh, yeah.
And they've got free reign to grabbing the AD carry. As much as Cloud9 relies on Sneaky, they are setting themselves up to get counterpicked completely here in this lane. Hai got an insta-lock.
Well, the
Syndra
obvious is, yeah. Tristan, a very, very quick hover over, probably be locked in. The Nami, like you were talking about, over Morgana, she has the sustain advantage. Both of them have to worry about, you know, dodging skill shots, controlling the bushes, and reacting to the CC. But Nami has such a big advantage as far as the crowd control is concerned. I mean, as far as the sustain is concerned in that lane. So let's see if they are able to find that 2v2. Because the Wild Boys have been out to prove something.
It's true.
They've wanted to take on all the other top lanes, or top duo lanes in the North American LCS.
And this is only their 4th game together in the LCS, if I remember correctly. It's been 1 week and 1 game. So here's number 4 for these guys up against C9.
And TSM not looking for that Twisted Fate pick, which is what EG used against Cloud9's Evelynn pick. And they used it very effectively. Pobelter able to catch Meteos multiple times in enemy territory and keep him in check. Keeping Meteos at least in check is extremely difficult because you not only have to get those deep wards down inside the jungle camps, but you also have to control Meteos' vision because he's the one creating a lot of plays, especially off of that top lane.
Yeah.
And constantly invading your jungle.
So Dyrus and Amazing, the pressure's on you guys. As we look through the rest of the lineups, though, TSM have a whole boatload of damage here on their composition.
They
Pretty
do.
backline focused, though.
A lot of it is area of effect, too. So,
Yeah.
yes, it is backline focused because Ziggs has long range and Gragas can chuck his ulti over the front line as well. But it's also AoE. So they can hit multiple people pretty easily with this combo. And Elise plus Nami is not quite Elise plus Morgana, but you can still chain those CCs very effectively.
Yeah.
And Cocoon, a bit easier to hit than the bubble. It's a very good follow-up there, Cocoon into bubble, for somebody who gets picked off.
And so both these teams lacking tanks, kind of. They're usually sort of more damage-focused top lane.
Yeah, I hope they lack tanks, because I don't want to see a tank Gragas. That's just garbage.
But it's not too effective. But as the teams load onto the rift, let's take a look at the voting here from LOLesports.com. Right now, 59% of you think that TSM will win and keep their record alive.
But if you do think that the other team has gotten the upper hand in Champion Select, then you can update your vote. Tweet LOL Esports and use the hashtag TSMWin or C9Win.
So as we load ourselves into the game, the second and I guess potentially first seed is still on the line here. I believe it's reachable for the teams. And right now, Cloud9 does sit 1 win above TSM. Right now, TSM 2-1 in the matchup, so if TSM wins here, they tie in wins and TSM wins the tiebreaker. Good chance TSM takes second from them. C9 wins, they're almost unreachable. They would have to go, C9 would have to lose the last game.
Basically, what we said, there's a bunch of marbles all over the place right now.
Yeah.
If you win this game, you get almost all of them. Even the shiny one with the blue swirly inside.
Oh my gosh, really?
That's my favorite one. The shooter.
Yep. Well, Cloud9 looking for the marbles. Thankfully, High's already got 3.
Now, he's got 3. Zig's got quite a few as well. The thing I do want to touch on, though, the Nidalee is 100% a split-pushing champion. This is a split-pushing Cloud9 squad. And TSM, very smartly, very wisely, pick up that Ziggs late in the draft to be able to cover a side lane. So I really like the reaction there from TSM. After C9 decided to steal away Syndra from Bjergsen and not let him have that huge lane bully. Yeah, they play a little bit more for the team this time around with Bjergsen. Gets that possibility of clearing off the split push waves that Nidalee can build up.
And that could be a good thing for TSM then. We saw that work a little bit for Shifter, but it wasn't enough for the team. As Toss did lose their first game of the day, but TSM could pick up where they left off and knock down C9 here.
That being said, Nidalee is not an instant win versus Gragas.
True.
It's a close matchup. She does have an edge, but again, it's always easily influenced by the jungler because Gragas has such an easy gap closer and Elise is such a potent ganker. They could easily flip that switch, and if you take down the split pushing power of Nidalee, then you are left with a very ineffective kit towards that mid game, and especially in the late game.
But look at what happened in this early game, though, as Cloud9 got deep wards down to spot out TSM's red buff. And now they know Amazing did start at his own blue, but there's no wards watching Meteos, so there's no tracking on this Evelynn.
And this is something Meteos has not been afraid to do, is go one buff into countering the other jungler. So stopping for Wolves here makes me think that he won't go try and kill Amazing at his red. It is still a possibility. He could just be counting on the fact that Amazing would also do them. No, it's not a possibility anymore.
No.
All right.
His bot lane's too far behind. He couldn't get back up.
He has done it before, and Diamond did it very successfully in the European LCS, as we saw with his sneaky blue elixir pickup. But Meteos going with the standard. Well, actually, it's a little bit less than standard here. He's going hard farm. The extra clear, though, picking up 2 small jungle camps before using his smite that came off cooldown a bit earlier for his next buff. Which makes me think that he will continue to farm the jungle here and not go for the early gank. Try and go for a first purchase and pick up a lot of wards. This is something he likes to do. You pick up a lot more vision. Instead of going with the common Evelynn ganks early on, he decides to go for the early stock of wards to get that deep vision as early as possible so he can set up the subsequent jungle invades and jungle plays off of Amazing's moves.
The problem is there's already pressure in this bottom lane, though. LemonNation with a great ward on the wall. Ooh, good black shield by himself, but you can see that trinket ward could spot the Elise gank, which Amazing won't get.
And you can see here, too, the highly prized jungle, or the bush vision here. Side bush control is so important in this matchup.
Well, the impressive thing is there were no wards on the river side because the one trinket ward is using the river, and TSM didn't identify that. They could have gotten Elise in through the top.
Yeah, it's something that you can really use effectively nowadays because so many bottom lanes do depend on these skill shot supports, a lot of them will be using their early wards in the lane on those side bushes, and it's very easy for junglers to go down there for early ganks. But amazing, just kind of waited in the wings there for a little bit. Wasted a little bit of extra time, and Meteos opting for that hard farm route did pay off. However, on his first buy, he didn't pick up wards. He went for the sustain. Oh,
he put one down for mid.
One for high. That's a good. That's actually pretty interesting because High usually does a quick shove and buys his own wards. So Meteos did allow High to stay in lane longer with that move. Plus, he gets that sustain for his early Spirit Stone.
And that's the Cloud9 style. That's what they've been doing the last couple of months here, is playing a very reserved early game. That's why they're tunneling on the Kog'Maw pick so much, that so often they pick up Dr. Mundo. Ooh, wow. Nice harass by Bjergsen there. High is going to have to back soon. Wow.
He's going to have to back now.
Yep. If Bjergsen ran Ignite, that was a kill. Just saying.
Right now. See if he can throw a random. No. Doesn't decide to go for the bouncing bomb. Stop his back. Amazing shows in lane here pretty early on. Meteos will be very well aware that his raids have been countered.
Amazing wards in on his way through, so it's going to be a little bit more tracking onto this Evelyn.
Ooh, he wants to find him, take this fight, heads up.
One level up, Meteos wants his battle, gets a Cocoon in the face, takes some damage as well, and says, okay, never mind.
Fairly.
We missed the trick.
Ooh. Tricky, deep ward in that Wraith camp. I'm not quite sure if Meteos actually showed up in the top lane. I don't think that he did come out of stealth because Balls was pressuring with Nidalee with the range advantage, and he is taking advantage of the matchup right now.
Yeah.
Very well, as he should be.
This bottom lane, though, actually the pressure from Cloud9's been pretty good, even though they got pushed back early on.
Look at this classic move from High, though. He's roaming down from Syndra. It's a double gank bottom. High, not even level 6. He could...
Stun, gonna hit both. Binding hits Lustboy, burst comes out, there's the Ignite. First blood goes to Sneaky.
Classic High. He loves to roam for his team. Even on Syndra, which many Syndra players like to sit in lane and just try and bully their lane opponent. But High gets level 6 off that Venture bottom as well.
He loses a minion wave for it, but worth it. And back to lane he goes.
And we can see, even before that kill, before the roam bottom, 10 CS lead there, give or take, for Sneaky and LemonNation in the bottom lane. Now, the early CS sometimes is a bit difficult with Tristana, so you can give the Wild Boys a little leeway there. But man, it's a pretty good showing, actually, by that consistent Cloud9 bottom lane. And the kill actually going on to Sneaky means that is going to get a lot more difficult for Turtle and Lustboy.
Yeah.
He's almost level 6 too, and that is the pain point.
That is a pain point against a Kog'Maw. He's not even that far away from Sheen either if he eventually buys the next 4 waves or so. But BF Sword in for Tristana. No potions, but he can rely on Lustboy's heal to keep himself up in this lane. The fact that he was able to safely back at BF Sword does keep his hopes alive, though. WildTurtle is going to be reasonable in that matchup.
That is the thing. Sometimes the worst part about getting ganked is dying when you have a weird, awkward amount of gold and you can't get the purchase that you want. So fortunate for him, even though he did go down, he did have the gold necessary for BF Sword.
Yeah.
And it won't hurt him too bad in lane. Let's see what they do with the second Reds, because Meteos does have that level 6, and Gragas is pushed up fairly far in lane. Nidalee is great at chasing people down, so all you really need when you gank for her are slows. Dyrus does have the disengage, though, of the Gragas ultimate.
And maybe he can get them all back, but of course, you typically see Meteos flank on champions like Evelyn. Only the one gank for him so far, though, but it was a very strong, very measured gank here. And you can see TSM are going to play very far back. No ulti for Lustboy. This turret's going to take a little bit of damage.
Good dodging so far here from Turtle. Avoids both the ulti and the binding. Yep. As we say, that takes one to the face. Easily healed up, though.
That's the thing with this lane, is Tristana can generally CS pretty well at this point under turret. BF sword plus rank 3 explosive shots, pretty easy to play around.
Evelyn is heading
Good walk
bottom
forward.
though. That is a bold move too by Turtle, not to dodge back for that. Or I think, never mind, they don't have vision of the bush. But look at these interesting pink wards by Cloud9. This middle pink ward down there in the river.
Uh-oh.
Whoa.
Good damage in from Balls. Dyrus forced away without teleport up, just relying on potions and maybe a catalyst level soon.
Sticking around, a dangerous move, but again, he still has the free usage of a spell to get his sustain in the current patch. That plus health potion gives him the confidence to stay in CS. CS lead has dwindled to only 2 for Balls as well.
Yeah, impressive stuff by Dyrus. Got air quotes counterpicked, but still did fine.
Still looking for the deep wards from Meteos. He's hasn't been in inside TSM's jungle as often as he usually would. Maybe getting caught out versus EG by that TF ult left him a bit scarred, and he's taking less risks this time around. But yeah, neither team with any deep vision. Both of them with defensive pink wards lined up.
A lot of it for C9. They completely owned their bottom jungle there. Meteos smites away the big Wraith.
Yeah.
Takes some damage from a red buff, but whatever. But yeah, Cloud9, again, such a heavily defensive early game. They're up 1,000 gold because of it, though. Some good moves for them as they wait until the team fight phase starts. No Dragon Temps just yet, but we're seeing Sneaky finally hitting level 7, trying to turn aggressive now in the matchup with the range advantage he can build.
Yeah, it's so hard to trade with Kog'Maw at this point.
I mean, look at the CS lead. He's up 26.
There has been constant pressure down here. A double roam is definitely pretty much the bane of all bottom lanes. Sometimes you can outplay a jungler gank, but
It's hard when high stuns you from 1,000 range.
Yeah, and the thing about High's ganks, he does these pretty much all pre-6, so these defensive wards that we see now are not in place yet. He does it timing it before teams go back and get their first purchases. Teams are, trying to stay in lane as long as possible to hit those purchase points we talked about for like BF Sword.
Exactly.
But that means people aren't going back and getting those early wards. So High takes advantage of the very small window where you can pull off those ganks.
And look at this by Cloud9. They built a big minion wave for themselves that would actually freeze if they wanted to. TSM, though, they show up with Amazing to push the wave out, realizing they're about to be freezed on. Good choice to pull him in there. It's just going to be the minions going down. You see he just walks up. This is a very smart choice to put Amazing there.
It is. I wonder whose call it was to call in that extra pressure. See if Turtle can get that cannon minion.
Yeah. But he gets a lot of damage back on him for it.
That's the combo. A W auto attack and an ulti. So much damage.
All right, I guess
Shall
I'll
not
wait.
pass! Ah, yes you shall.
Sorry, Bjergsen, you are not a real wizard.
Look at Bjergsen's mana pool, though. This is going to be trouble. Cloud9 have the advantage in mid lane because High has been holding on to that mana pool, and that looks like the dragon with the timing of the back down bottom.
Yeah.
Very well played. They've got that aggression in mid to drain the mana pool of Bjergsen. Timed very well with that bottom back.
Perfect play by Cloud9. They're now up 2,500 gold off of a very conservative laning phase, but playing around the mana pools and the matchup they've got for themselves. 30 minion lead in the AD carry. Trinity Force done for Sneaky. He's going to destroy that lane now.
Ooh, yes. Talk about pain points. Trinity Force Kog'Maw done. Meteos always rushes his jungle item as well. It really increases his income at this stage of the game too, so we'll see if he keeps up with this sort of hard farming Evelyn that he's been doing so far, or gets found out by Amazing.
Well, Amazing found double golems, but is still looking for a way in on Balls. Low mana on the Nidalee.
Ulti.
Idling. Can he flash the cocoon? Ooh, nice. Jumps the other way with it. Nothing gained.
And it's a risky dodge to go that way too. If Dyrus was expecting it, they can punish you for it.
So nothing really picked up then for TSM other than showing their jungler, and Meteos is going to wait in the wings with a ward to the Tribe Rush, but nothing really picked up. Balls should have plenty of money here. Rod of Ages close to being done for Dyrus as well. And another back came in. TSM just back for boots. They had just come back onto the pickaxe. They've already recalled.
Yeah, part of the reason Cloud9 are so content with playing this defensively is because the lead for their bottom lane, not only did they get an early lead, but it's increasing over time. They're gaining interest on this bottom lane.
Yeah. Oh man, so 36 CS right now. The lead for Sneaky. LemonNation, I've noticed a lot of times he won't upgrade his Spell Thief's Edge. I asked him after the show one time, like, hey, you didn't upgrade all game. And he's like, yeah, if I don't get it by like 10 minutes, I just don't bother. Because he's like, I'm not going to get the value out of it anymore. So he might just stay on Spell Thieves for a while. Or I'm wrong. But he's already got cooldown boots. He's looking for a lot of bindings.
Yeah, exactly. That's something that has been consistent in his build. Always getting the cooldown reduction because there's so much utility that he brings to the table. The split push battle here has not become an option yet for Balls. Dyrus is doing a great job holding his own. And if he picks up this wave, he'll be right in there with CS as well.
Oh, wow. Sneaky, though. Look at that. That's like 3 spells and an auto attack.
He knows he's got to be drawing jungle attention with this very aggressive play, though.
Sneaky pull turret dagger. WildTurtle has a slow on him.
Bubble just barely misses. No black shield. Lemon knew he'd dodge it.
This is so weird. Usually we talk always about top laners and then, whoa!
Yep.
One more of those.
And Lemon's like, hey, I dare you to come at me here, but Lustboy knows better than the ulti.
And look at the speed that Sneaky gets from his Trinity Force. It doesn't even matter that he doesn't have boots. He's able to still dodge without having the purchase of boots.
Wow. Now it's a 54 minion lead in this bot lane. That number is rapidly accelerating. No wonder Cloud9 wants to play the laning phase for longer.
Yeah, it's such a funny dynamic because we got to talk about top laners. If they get an advantage over their top lane opponent, then it's so easy to bully them and draw jungle attention to you there. Very rarely do we see this in the duo lane, but Sneaky and Lemon have done it, and the featured matchup so far this game going handily to the Cloud9 Cold War bot lane.
Well, pretty soon it's going to heat up though when they get into team fights. Bombs might go off. Sneaky, plenty of money on him, 250 gold. For the turret going down, Meteos might sway the big golem. TSM just left to find nothing to do.
It did take Meteos a while to sort of hover down around this bottom side of the map, but that's what you want to do. He's just so used to always making his plays off the top side, where Balls is usually winning his lane and bullying his opponent. But this time around, his bottom lane is really where the strength comes from. And in these games that are so close, you always want to err towards the side of caution. And if you go for any risky plays, you do them on the side of the map where your team is winning. Let's see, though. TSM have decided to push up top, try and get something back here. Extra turret pressure.
It's a good move there. Getting some damage in this one. Lustboy's around, but both supports showing up now. High cheating off to the side. And really quick wave clear here. Lustboy going to reveal himself. But a 4-man defense there for Cloud9 as Sneaky push the bot lane. Can they go in? Balls is out of mana. He only has Cougar Form spells right now. Bjergsen could also show up with an ultimate here. Cloud9, they just show enough people that TSM may respect this defense.
Ooh, if Cloud9 rotate all 3 people to mid, TSM could keep their presence up top and gain that advantage. Looks like it's just going to be up to Dyrus. Balls has teleport, but he doesn't want to use it because Dragon's up in 45 seconds. This is a good call from Cloud9 to hold on to their teleport, not use it just to get a few CS there. Lemon's going to do his best to try and pick up the scraps. But we'll see how this Dragon control shakes out for Cloud9 because the vision battle has been pretty even. Both teams with the defensive pinks. So that means the battle line here drawn in that river. And both top laners do have their teleports ready.
And looks like these teams are setting up for Dragon number 2 then. Balls finished Triforce, Roa, and almost a Sheen for Dyrus.
Now I have to say, when battling over vision like this, the advantage here of Lemon and High with the very long range CC is very dangerous for TSM. There's one that hits.
Ooh. Havage being amazing. No stun just yet from high, but Lemon can look for picks.
What a bouncing bomb there. Huge chunk out of Lemon. Nice shot by Bjergsen.
And a defensive pink's going to keep wards away. You talked about the Morgana Elise combo from Cloud9, but I guess Syndra fills a really similar place with, you know, as Cocoon, with the pushback, with the scatter the weak.
It's
playing picks.
It's a very, very strong CC because it hits multiple people as well. Very effective for these mid-game dragon fights. Sneaky finds his target.
Goes in on a WildTurtle, pretty low health. Flash is up for both these guys. One ulti hits. He doesn't want to trade flashes there and jump into the enemy team, but top lane outer turret goes down just from the one-on-one there. Balls makes the headway. Bot died similarly, and Cloud9 now in control over Dragon. 5,000 gold up. WildTurtle nowhere to be seen.
Yeah, this is the point. Nidalee gets her Trinity Force. Big, big split pushing threat now. Takes down the turret, gets the CS lead, buys time for the team here, even though there's vision. Actually, the Dragon is not a result of balls. The top lane, result of balls, but the Dragon, a result of sneaky.
Well, amazing result of balls. Jumps across the wall. Balls like, wait a second.
Which way did he go?
Over. There's the Spiderlings. Amazing. Has flash. Javelin's going to miss. Kaido's going to knock him back. And he can't aggro Baron in time to kill him. Nice escape there for Amazing, but loses.
Yeah,
actually trades flashes.
Really great outplay there. Balls was a bit confused whether he went to the Wraith camp or whether he went to the red buff. Sneaky move from Amazing, getting around outside. And you could see the damage of Trinity Force Nidalee right there, shredding a jungler. Squishy at least, by the way.
Yeah, keep in mind he's got...
I mean, to be fair, that's one of the squishiest champions.
Bonus health. Actually, Elise is one of the champions as well that doesn't even run almost any defensive runes in the jungle. Usually run AP glyphs.
Yeah, because he just tank with Spiderlings.
Yeah. So he's got no bonus MR at all. And that makes Cougar Forms hurt a little bit. LemonNation keeps a ward over on Baron. 21 minutes in, he gets the ward down, making sure that doesn't get snuck out. The defensive pinks are still up for C9 though. One in front of red, one in front of blue, one by mid lane. Cloud9 are now up 70 minions across the 80 carries here. Mid staying close, top lane 20, not a big deal, but Cold War crushing the Wild Boys, man.
Yeah, that is definitely paying off. Need to get some of those sneaky stocks. He has complete control, and there's no way that Turtle can actually get it back from him either. Even if they draw down the jungler, Sneaky's at a point where he can 2v1 fairly confidently.
They can absolutely 2-on-2 this turret, down to half HP already. LemonNation getting his money off shooting the turret down. A little bit more harassed on a WildTurtle and Lustboy. This Nami, unfortunately, not finding anything to do this game.
Here come the reinforcements. Zig's halfway down, but because High is keeping pressure on the mid lane, he has to go back. So this is a good job of Cloud9 coordinating. They're shoving on all fronts here. This is a full attack from Cloud9, pushing all sides. Usually you say you don't want to fight multiple wars at the same time. But if you have winning armies on all fronts, then go ahead.
Guess it works out. Strategic masterminds of Cloud9 going to make this one happen. Ignores the caster minion. Sneaky just goes for the turret here. Smart choice. Tier 2 bot goes down 23 minutes in, and Cloud9 have taken their third structure of the game. +2 Dragons in the first blood, 7,500 gold lead.
It's a good job of Cloud9 keeping up this pressure too, because they don't want to get to the point where Ziggs can get... Oh!
A little bit of damage back and forth. LemonNation really low, actually. Ulti comes in, and Bjergsen gets the first kill of the game for TSM.
Now, Lemon flashed away from danger, but he could... Oh, High
gosh! High goes in, explodes WildTurtle, gets Lustboy as well, sneaks around for show, and that is a 2-for-1, then C9. They've got to get away from the mid lane. TSM's got to run scared.
Yeah, they do. Meteos is on the chase.
He has his ultimate, spots Bjergsen. There's a satchel. He goes in for Sneaky, can't get out of that one. Balls on the flank as well to make sure that goes down. Third kill, fourth kill for Cloud9.
And it all started there with Lemon going down. Now he kind of baited in TSM there by dying. But I was going to say, you don't always want to flash directly away from danger in a straight line. If Lemon flashes down here over the wall, he lives. He can flash down over the wall, but he barely gets to the edge and does go down. That, in turn, baits in TSM, and High comes up with a huge solo play here. Man. He doesn't waste his ult on Lustboy, by the way. I love it. The coordination there with Sneaky adding enough damage so that he confidently goes for the 100% on Turtle.
Yeah.
And then can clean up the support afterwards. Really good coordination so far from Cloud9.
It's been really good. We've always praised their team fight calling. They're so quiet in fights except for High. And he says, we're killing this guy. And everyone just trusts him and goes for that champion.
Yep.
And they go down 1 by 1. It's really, really clean. I feel like Cloud9 have the best team fighting in the North American LCS. The problem is they just don't always get to that phase successfully. We saw EG take them out pretty strongly early on. TSM has not created that pressure at all this week.
Yeah, I believe he made the call and Sneaky got the shred down on just before the ult went off.
Oh, wow.
Bursting that damage, but we have not, seen TSM have any control of this game. Cloud9 from the very beginning, in large part due to their bottom lane.
Yeah.
See if TSM can pull something out though, because if they can turtle and just huddle inside their turrets, there is a chance.
There is.
It's definitely pretty slim, but there is a chance here for TSM. If Cloud9 make a blunder, get out of position, there's definitely damage there on TSM to capitalize on a mistake.
It's an Infinity as Tristana. WildTurtle can carry a team fight. Just got to have that really happen properly. He's got a kill and 270 minions on Bjergsen. He's got damage. He's got the start of a Void Staff coming up as well.
And up until now, they've kept most of the vision out of their own jungle. It's going to get a lot harder, though. This dragon should pretty much be all Cloud9.
Yeah, there's no way TSM walks into that one. They saw that Dignitas game. Contesting objectives when you're behind, rather difficult, and that's going to be now more than 10,000 gold in the lead. TSM claimed their first turret kill as well.
Whoa! Is that Infinity Edge for balls? Okay.
Oh,
that is
wow. That is a build.
That's a build that'll make your father proud.
Well, he wanted to deal tons of damage.
Looking for the crits, yeah.
And Trinity Force wasn't quite enough for him. So he added even more.
I like it. A lot of times
I do too. This is great.
A lot of times we see the transition to more tanky build after that, and then we make the point about Nidalee not bringing a lot to the mid and late game. But this is a new take, adding a lot more attack damage threat to this team, which is interesting because before that it was mostly magic damage based.
Yeah.
Now even the auto attacks, range auto attacks coming from balls are going to have a very, very big amount of threat.
Oh, Dyrus, speaking of big amount of threat, ulti comes in for High. There's the ulti back, though, and Amazing gets the first kill. He's going to repel into the air. Can he get away from
trouble,
Sneaky, though? One auto attack, 2 auto attacks not going to happen. The W is on cooldown. Tidal Wave comes across, knocks up Sneaky. Meteos forced to run away from this one.
Ball's coming in the middle of the mid lane. Oh, cancel the teleport? Yeah, he canceled it. So there we said, TSM do have the damage to capitalize on a mistake. If there's a misposition, good skill shots landing from TSM. They catch High out. That play was created by TSM.
That is a turret for it, so there you go. TSM's second turret now of the game. Ball's only got a few minion waves, but will he look for a flank here? Looks like not.
Well, now TSM have an extra card in their hand. They've got the extra teleport advantage here.
Oh, yeah.
Dyrus with the cooldown. Can they make something happen, though? They're still working with that 10k gold difference. And they still need to buy more time for Turtle. He's almost there to the Phantom Dancer. That would be a huge boost for them. Because I think he's already maxed out his rapid fire, too. Yeah,
by 13 you should.
He did go at second.
Yeah.
So he's got that full attack speed bonus.
Ruby sight stood out for Lustboy as well, so even if a few wards get swept, he doesn't have to recall as often to kill or to get his ward control back up.
See if this Infinity Edge split push works out.
I also like that as Balls is pushing up, he's actually bought most of his own wards. We saw him briefly in the southern jungle, warding up his own gank routes. So Balls is a self-sufficient pushing machine here. It's really impressive by him.
And that is a good point to talk about the Cloud9 infiltration of TSM territory here. They've pretty much claimed the entire bottom side jungle. And that is, of course, always the lane that you want to work off with your split pusher. One furthest away from Baron, so you get the most amount of pressure and distance that you can pull your enemy apart. See if they can hold it off here. They do have one Ziggs ult ready, and this is also before the Ziggs ult nerfs.
Yeah.
Still at a lowered cooldown.
I think it's, what, base 90 at max rank? 100 or 90, I believe.
Yeah. With the
Thieves is even lower.
with the blue buff on right now, it's only 68 seconds.
Yeah. So Bjergsen's going to be plenty happy to be Ziggs here. And of course, Gragas and Tristana as well. Those are arguably 3 of the best in their roles at wave clearing. So sieging will be hard for C9. Might just be like the Cursed Dig game where they play for the jungle. They've controlled all the dragons.
Yep.
And they are setting up Baron here.
Trying to draw them out. Always playing the Fog of War game with Syndra is very, very dangerous. As we said, it's a really long range stun, and if you guys file in, it can hit multiple members, so it's always very, very dangerous to face check that. And TSM are very cautious, as they should be. Only WildTurtle has the Scrying Orb, so they only get one shot at that, already used.
Yeah, I feel like actually teams should be getting more than one now by endgame. When you're against a team like this, where you've got the wave clear, and you know they need to set up Baron, you get more than one Scrying Orb.
I would be fine with Bjergsen going with a Scrying Orb as well, because he can also use it in times of an escaped member of Cloud9 to snipe them with his ultimate as well. This split push down bottom, though, Cloud9 are just buying time. They're not messing around with starting the Baron because they don't have the largest amount of sustain or the largest health pools with the 4-man squad. So really, they're just trying to buy time for balls down there.
Oh, I can see that goes in on Bjergsen. Doesn't quite go down, though. Forced to flash away from WildTurtle. Bjergsen, one shot from dead, does get away. Maybe the chase in for LemonNation, though. The slow won't land. Sneaky, though. Couple autos from the kill. Heal by WildTurtle. Here comes Balls, though. Does he want this fight? More poke on a Bjergsen. And there's the Ziggs ult as well, knocking LemonNation low.
The response of damage from TSM was pretty big there. So they might even decide to go for this. It's a pretty risky call. I think Cloud9 are going to be taking the Baron down really quickly, so we'll see. Oh!
They're going to catch up on Amazing a little bit. Balls is squishy, but wants this fight. Meteos dives on in. Can they get the kill, though? Meteos half HP now. Amazing one shot from dead. Balls claims the kill. Now on towards Dyrus. Gigantic burst of damage. Sneaky claims that one. Now Lustboy going to get flash rolled on by Morgana. Hops the wall. Tidal wave not up right now, but the satchel charge. Bjergsen pushes them away. Balls in the chase. Into the brush. Kills him with a Q. From 1/3 HP. WildTurtle now gets rooted in place. Knocks him back, though. No health left on C9.
Infinity Edge. Nidalee Freak. Seen it in action. Now, TSM, they did stop the Baron, but they lost 3 people in the process, and you still give up a neutral objective. Plus, they didn't fully retake vision around the Baron, so they really are only stalling the inevitable here. Almost a really good disengage from TSM. Very, very close to getting out. But Balls is not going to let Amazing get away, nor Dyrus. And then he quickly turns his sights towards Bjergsen here. I believe Sneaky, they're just showing that he got double buffs there. Blue buff is extremely strong on Kog'Maw for the siege. Not only reducing cooldown for his W, but the mana pool that you need to sustain that artillery for long sieges.
It's all kinds of scary, man. It is a very strong champion. Especially, I mean, red buff's really good too, of course. You're long range, you get more slows. And life is painful when you're his opposition. Cloud9 up closer to 13,000. Once again, setting up Baron.
Yep, here we go, round 2 of the Vision game. Cloud9, so calculated. They know they have the advantage, and they know that they have the Baron buff.
Nope, Ziggs ulti does not come in time. Cloud9 claims that rather quickly. And TSM just not there in time. Dyrus is gonna hit this bot lane turret a little bit. Could be the 3rd and final outer turret taken there. That will happen for Dyrus, but of course Cloud9 just Every single time that happens, they get something better elsewhere on the map.
And this exact last few minutes is what we always applaud Cloud9 for. Their ability to take these early game leads and turn them into meaningful mid-game objectives. Huge, huge investment in vision control, specifically on this side of the map. They didn't waste anything. You can see the Dragon side is completely dark for them. Everything is concentrated here because that's what matters. That's where all the plays are being made. And they first bait, and then after getting the advantage,
just go right for it, knowing TSM can't stop them. So Cloud9 in control of this game, up about 15,000. They win this game, they are guaranteed at least a tiebreaker with TSM for second, if not the outright position. If things go their way, TSM would have to rely on a miracle to make a playoff buy.
Whoa.
Amazing, takes a whole big chunk of damage. And Bjergsen just gets soloed out. What? All right. Well, Cloud9's got gold.
yes,
Yes, they do.
That one counts down there. Ball or high. I bet he just hit one of those long-range stuns. Look, the flash was used by Bjergsen as well, though.
Yeah.
And no flash from high.
Walked at him. Out. Down he went. Death Cap, Void Staff, plenty scary. Pushing towards amazing half health on the Elise high, forced back. Half health on himself, blind then a Dyrus. Damage comes in, Sneaky wants his turret. It's gonna go down, Meteos dives in for the fight. Mid laner still down for 20 seconds. Balls dives on in, explodes Dyrus. With full squishy in Italy, WildTurtle follows suit. 3 members of that at TSM. And Cloud9 not getting the first inhibitor. They look mid lane.
Should be a pretty easy pickup for them. They've brought the full weight of this gold lead. And it looks like this should even be the end of the game here. They don't want it back. 30 seconds, plenty of time.
They don't need to. The slow and controlled style, the push on in, that one. Pretty uncontrollable though. Balls wants in onto Amazing, does claim the kill. He's on a rampage, 4-0-1. And now the Nexus turrets are going to be going down. The controlled style of Cloud9. They get out of the early game. They crush the bot lane 2v2. They take down the Nexus 36 minutes in. Never letting up on TSM.
And let's take a look at the 2 first-round pick choices for both teams. TSM get the Gragas in the top lane for Dyrus. At best, for the early game, goes even with Nidalee. And then Balls, as soon as he gets Trinity Force, gains the split push upper hand, creating pressure in top. Meanwhile, Cloud9 in their first round, they lock in the Kog'Maw Morgana, which absolutely destroys.
Yeah, and they did incredibly well. I mean, 307 doesn't look like the most spectacular scoreline, but Sneaky was doing so much damage. And the fact that he held WildTurtle down almost 100 CS by the end of the game. Absolutely crushing 2-on-2 match there, despite the fact that TSM could have counterpicked. They got the Nami into the Morgana, a good choice there. The Tristana is something that WildTurtle thought would work there and did not. Bjergsen, the MVP from last split, could not keep down High. High, in fact, got out of his lane, unleashed his power all over the bottom lane, got the first blood.
High was definitely on display this game. People have been wondering about High because he was having a few struggles in the beginning of the split, but he is definitely back. Amazing games on Yasuo, amazing games on Syndra.
Yep.
He has definitely shown that he has bounced back, and then some.
Here's actually my question for High, though, is we actually found by Worlds last year, the champion pool was actually only 4. And we saw in their semifinal against Fnatic, or their quarterfinal against Fnatic, Fnatic found ways to attack that, just throw all your bands at High. High's no longer useful. Will teams go back to, wait, is C9's champion pool shallow by the end of playoffs? Is that in the horizon? We've only seen 3 great champs from High recently.
At the beginning of the game, I was joking when I said, oh, in the notebook, Dade played Zed. Hi, you want to play Zed again? Literally, that is one of High's favorite champions.
That's true. I mean, he wants to be able to start plays by himself.
Not only has Korea seen a couple assassins have success, Voyboy comes up with Talon. So assassins are very much on the plate once again.
Yeah, I think people overreacted for a little bit there. Went on the support mid-hype train, but I think we will see more things coming soon.
The types of assassins, though, right now, like Talon, Exhaust is not that effective against Talon because he jumps in so quick, and half of the time he'll be coming in with his ultimate already popped. So you can't get vision of him. once you get that exhaust on, it's almost too late.
True. Yeah, and even still, like, you're seeing that go really well. Even the Zed, who is like telegraphed, that's working just fine. I know Voy was trying a Kali a little while ago. That was his counterpick to Yasuo. It was actually one of the European Challenger teams, SK Prime, who just won the Challenger Summer 2 over NIP. They counterpick Yasuo with a Kali. And it's such to the point where teams won't pick Yasuo against them anymore, because they've like trained these matchups and they know these counterpicks there. Of course, Yasuo, a champion in himself that we've seen work out. So I do think that class of champions are on the rise. I think we're going to see a couple more of these guys come out. High so far hasn't been tested too heavily in his champion pool, and Cloud9 is working. I do worry for them in the fact that they are still playing this super slow style that we see teams like EG punish. And that's a little bit troublesome for me when I think about the fact that some of these teams are going to be going to Worlds, that teams will be researching them, seeing their games they lead in, and saying, well, you guys don't do anything for 10 minutes.
It's always much more impressive when you see the team making the moves early, because you can be sure that your game plan will be the same for the next game, because you're the ones dictating the play. But you can't be sure how your opponent is going to react in the early game every time around.
Cloud9 relying on their lanes pretty heavily, but so far it's working out. They are almost guaranteed top 2 here. But for more on Cloud9's victory, let's throw it over to Dash and Zyrene at the analyst desk.
Thanks, freaking Kobe. We're joined by Balls and Meteos from C9 after a pretty standard win there against TSM. So Meteos, talk to me about how that feels, being able to, kind of have a methodical win this late into the split leading up to playoffs.
Oh, this one definitely was huge for us, because if we lost this, it would have been really hard for us to get top 2 and get that bye in the playoffs, which is huge. We've had it the past 2 splits, but wasn't secured this split. It's still not totally secured. We still have to play well tomorrow, but it definitely feels good to beat TSM. I was really nervous going into the match because it's really one of the biggest matches we've had to play in a while, so it feels good to win.
How confident are you feeling against your match tomorrow against CLG with that patchwork roster? Yeah, Balls, you have something to say about this.
I don't know. It's playing against 5 new subs, and it's pretty hard since you don't know what they're going to play, and so you can't really study them, and it's going to be hard.
We do have experience behind us for the match, so we have that advantage on them, but at the same time, we haven't played versus these guys outside of solo queue, so they could surprise us. We have to take them super seriously and play our best.
So instead of adjusting to their style, you come in with yours and force them to adjust to you? Is that what this is?
Pretty much.
Okay.
Well, we saw yesterday that they're very capable of taking kills and possibly a game in the game versus Dignitas. So definitely someone to keep in mind as we move forward. Now, Meteos, another question towards you is, in Champ Select, Elise, Eve, you and Amazing have a somewhat similar champion pool, at least in what you prioritize. Yet we didn't see any of the junglers come out in the first 2 picks for either team. Why is that?
Well, I think there's just higher priority on other stuff. I don't want to get too into how we pick, but we both felt comfortable in what we were playing, so we didn't feel a need to, take a champion away from the other one. Because Eve Elise is a pretty even matchup. Both were open, so there's no real need to pick one of them over the other.
All right, and sticking on the theme of champions here, Balls, you whipped out the Nidalee. Excluding your 2 victories on Nidalee, she's 1-4 in the LCS currently since the rework of her. Why are you so successful on her, and why is everybody else not?
Well, whenever I pick Nidalee, I pick it into a specific matchup, and I pick it into a lane where I think I can win, like 100% confident, because if you fall behind on Nid, you're pretty much useless. And as Nid, you always want to just split push. And when you saw that game right there, I was playing really aggressive from like level 1 to all the way. I tried not to let Graves get any CS. And the only time when he got CS was when his jungler came for him. And that's when I couldn't deny him anymore. But I'm familiar with that matchup, and just about playing confident in that matchup, and that's what I did.
All right, what was the Infinity Edge? Was that just a standard build? Okay, no, it's not. All right, talk to me about that.
Honestly, I don't know why I built Infinity Edge. I think Bork would have been better, but I just told my team, like, I'm going Infinity Edge. I just feel it right now, and then I just did it.
He's never done it in that damage or solo queue, and he just randomly goes, "Hey guys, I'm going IE this game." We're like, "All right, Balls, do whatever you want."
Sometimes people get baited into the IE. Cop bot 2 one time, so it's a really appealing item.
I mean, we saw the strength of the Nidalee in the last couple team fights of that game. You're pouncing all over the place, executing kills. Now, Meteos, as a kind of a more macro question, since we don't have High on the desk, I have a question about the early roams that we see him do sometimes pre-6. And you actually executed it with him to secure those kills in the bot line and help kind of turn the aggression around in that bot lane. So where does that style come from, roaming pre-6 on Syndra?
Well, whenever High can get an advantage in lanes, such as shoving out lanes, you can do two things. You can go farm race, or you can roam. And most mid laners favor farming race, but High likes roaming a lot. And so that was just an opportunity where we saw their bottom lane is pushing out. Nami's pretty vulnerable to ganks because she doesn't have any way of like protecting herself or jumping away. And so they started pushing out. High landed a really nice stun into a Morgana bind, and we got the kill.
All right, and I actually want to pull a replay up here. It's 23 minutes in. Highs ends up getting a double kill. Lemon ends up going down, and this happens on TSM's red side. So talk to me about this. You guys are poking back and forth and then eventually get some kills. What's the communication like? Balls, help me out with this.
I'm just sitting top lane right now.
I can probably explain it better.
Yeah,
All right,
I
go
think
for
Meteos
Meteos.
should do this.
Let's get you on this
game
one.
was basically just a battle for vision control. And at this point, I think me and Lemon both didn't have any wards, and we tried to clear out that bush. And we had to wait a while because we had to wait for someone else to come over and trinket it. And so Lemon kind of got caught of it. They knew they were really behind, so they had to make a play. So the entire time we're just, waiting for them to make their play, and that's when they went for it. They killed Lemon, but then High, just played him out of his mind and got 2 kills back.
Yeah, I shouldn't have asked you for that because you're just split pushing.
That's all I'm doing. That's nearly.
Game.
Well, so I'm going to follow up a little bit on the split push. You guys started to develop a lead against them, which you then kind of carried through and grew throughout the game. However, you're playing against Gragas, Ziggs, and Tristana. That's like notoriously amazing wave clear. So when you're up against that, even though you have a lead, what specifically is the strategy utilizing the Nidalee and stuff to push for the victory against great wave clear?
Well, actually, when I'm splitting, and it's 1 and 4, right? I think Dragon spawns, so they're huddling around Dragon. And then top lane, Nidalee versus Gragas. I was poking Gragas down little by little, and he got to the point where he can't wave clear anymore. And I was about to get to the top turret, and he just had to recon. They had to send up backup for him, and that's when we just went for Dragon. That's how the split push work. I make their team come to me, and we get objectives.
So you're playing around the global objectives, and we're actually going to pull up another replay here, which is the 32-minute fight around Baron. You guys go 3 for 0 because you utilize Baron very well in baiting out those team fights. So Meteos, if you don't mind, walking us through kind of how this fight developed.
All right, so this was really awkward for us because we had no one to tank Baron, and we kept trying to bait it, and so they had no urge to check it just because they knew we couldn't do it very well. So finally we just decided, all right, enough baiting, let's just try it. And this is when they did decide to check it. So we ended up getting a fight. It was a pretty awkward fight, but we were pretty ahead, so we just won it.
Right here, I just run up to Ziggs and just kill him. Just got the kill.
Hey, I saw you shaking your head there.
Yeah.
Now, do you guys
I pretty much just walked up on him and just took the kill. Then WildTurtle came up, got hit by binding, and then we just get Baron.
How do you guys feel about Baron being utilized as a tool within the game? Is it best used as a comeback mechanic? Is it best used as a bait against a siege comp where you're not really going to make or build any ground by going up against their turrets? Where do you see it being the biggest factor in a game?
Well, Baron's actually all those things you said. It's just a huge objective that if you get it, you get a massive swing, and it's really good for baiting fights as well. Because when you're ahead and they have something like a Ziggs, it's pretty obnoxious to try to push on them. You're never going to get a tower against a Ziggs. So the best thing you can do is just take vision control, which we try to do, and then by baiting Baron, there's the risk of us doing it, so they have to come over and check, and we get a fight away from their turrets, which hopefully we can win if we're strong enough. So that's sort of what we do with Baron. And if a team decides we're not going to fall for it, we're not going to get forced into a fight, they give you Baron, and then you have massive regen, and you can out-sustain their poke and kill the turrets faster.
Okay, well, the final question here would be looking forward to playoffs, and this is not to overlook CLG, your game tomorrow, but how do you guys feel that you stack up against some of the other top teams, LMQ, TSM, who you just played, and then the CLG roster coming back from Korea?
I think all the teams that we could play in playoffs are really good. I don't think there's any matchup I would favor over another one. We're just going to try to play our best and hopefully win. I
want to see the new CLG whenever they come back. I think it's going to be interesting how they get to scrim against Korea. And I know back then when we scrimmed against SKT at All-Stars, they're really incredible. They pretty much won almost every scrim against us. And that's why I want to see what happens when CLG comes back.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of anticipation in terms of how that CLG roster will look when they come back, what kind of form they'll be in. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for the interview. Congrats on the win. Best of luck tomorrow. And we've got to take a quick break, so grab a drink, stretch your legs, and make sure that laptop is charged up because we still got 4 more matches coming your way. Next up on The Rift, it's CLG versus Evil Geniuses. We'll be right back.
God, I'm so pumped. So much energy.
Sharing
the power.
Share the power.
Away from danger, but he could. Oh, high
gosh! High goes in, explodes WildTurtle, gets Lustboy as well. Meteos half HP now, amazing one shot from dead. Balls claims the kill. Now on towards Dyrus, gigantic burst of damage. Sneaky claims that one. Meteos dives in for the fight. Mid laner still down for 20 seconds. Balls dives on in, explodes Dyrus. With full squishy in Italy, WildTurtle follows suit. 3 members of that at TSM.